What's up, baby? Welcome to Ahmani's Infinite Love. It feels so good to be back on the podcast, blessing your ear. Listen, things have been different. Things have been changing. A lot of growth has been made. I feel so good. I'm still in Thailand. This is actually my last few weeks in Thailand. I'm going to be heading to Japan soon. So I wanted to get another episode and to bring in this new era. This is like a trailer, but also like an opening of the ideas that I want to discuss with this new season about relationships and dating. It's been very, very, very prominent in my life lately, and I want to share that, and I want to talk about it, and I want to explore it with you. But before we get into all that, because it gets deep here. It gets really deep, and what I like to do before we go too deep is to take some nice deep, slow, relaxing breaths so we can be present and so we can be here and centered for this conversation. All right. So, hope that you're in a space where you can go ahead and do a little bit of relaxing, do a little bit of shaking. So, whatever bones need to get loosened up, whatever you need to do to get present and being you, I advise you to do that. Let's do 3 breaths, inhaling for 6 seconds and exhaling for 6 seconds. My intentions is to be present and pure. And whatever intentions you want, set them. But let's get into it. I'm going to count you down. You ready? You ready? Okay. Inhale. Exhale. Doing great. Let's go. 2 more. Inhale. Oh. One more. Mm. I'm present. I'm in love. I'm 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 just so in love with life. Honestly, that's wow. Those breaths, they just bring me such euphoric states of bliss. I love when I breathe on this podcast and I breathe with you because I'm breathing into you. I'm breathing with you. It's powerful, these breaths that we share, and I love starting every episode with those. But listen, right? Now we got some breaths. Now we settled. I really want to talk about relationships. It's been a very prominent thing in my life lately because I've been doing a little dabbling, a little stepping into the dating scene lately, right? And it's different. It's different. It's amazing though. It's amazing. Not gonna lie. It's been a while, honestly, since I dated, and I haven't been in a relationship for quite a few years. Quite a few years. So I'm touching up on some things, doing some things that I haven't done in a long time, and it's just I really want to speak on it, and I really want to explore this topic of relationships and dating, and not just and okay. So I was separated, right? Relationships because we have different kind of relationships with our in our life, right? You have a relationship with your dad, your mom, your coworkers, boss, your job or the business. You have relationships, of course, with yourself first and foremost. That's the most important relationship. The relationship with God, with Creator, with Source Energy, with the higher power, whatever you call it. We have all these different relationships in our lives, and I just really want to explore the realms of relationships. I want to talk about it. I want to talk about, what do they mean? What does that look like? Not just for me, but I want to also bring more people on the podcast and just get their perspectives on some things. So I'm looking forward to doing some collaborations this season because I know I'm always on the mic by myself and just talking. I'm good at it. I know, but I also am gonna add more people here. But the second part of dating, right, is like I said, what I've been doing recently. I want to talk about that too, cause we just got out of a Venus retrograde. Yeah, You should know me by now. Maybe you don't. But listen, if you don't, I'm super into astrology. I love astrology. I like to study it. I think it's super cool because we have these things in the stars in the sky that we can see, and learning about the relationship that we have with the planets, with the stars, with the constellations is something that I love to explore personally. And the Venus retrograde that we just got out of was a huge time period of reflection upon relationships, reflections upon dating. What are we tolerating? What are we allowing into our lives? You know, how can we do some restructuring in those areas? And I can say I definitely came out of Venus retrograde with a whole lot more perspective when it comes to relationships and especially dating. So I'm not gonna lie. I'm this is gonna require me to be completely honest because I also want to, as I'm exploring this, this is like a journey, and this is gonna be like a documented growth of me and how I, see and view myself in the world and how I interact with others. So I'm gonna be honest. What I've observed with me, I can be a bit obsessive in love. Not gonna lie. I could blame it on the Scorpio Venus in me. I love to blame things on my sides. Like, oh, it's the Cancer Moon. The Cancer Moon's always just being so emotional and dramatic. But hey, that Scorpio Venus, that Scorpio Venus of mine, that Scorpio Venus, and I have a Scorpio Mars. Arr. So it's double the like water, intense, passionate energy. And I am that in love. I am super intense. I am, and I've noticed I have sometimes like this all or nothing mindset when it comes to love. Like, oh, I want it, I want this all right now. I don't want nothing at all. Very, very dramatic, very intense, and a little dysregulating, honestly. So I've been glad I've made this awareness so I can learn how to work with this energy, right? Because I think that's a part of the huge reason why I haven't really dated in a long time as well, because I love I love really intensely, and I love very deeply. It's I don't do the casual sex. I would love to, but that's just not really something I resonate with right now. Not really something for me, and especially, with me being a trans man, it's different. It's different. Dating and having sex as that, like it's a whole different world, like being a lesbian, being a lesbian, so much easier to be honest. Like, when I was a stud, people just knew what it was. And you see me, and then, you know, but it works differently. It works differently because you look at me and you say, "Oh wow, you look like a cis man." Yeah, I know. Thank you. But things work differently, so that's a whole nother realm, and I just haven't opened myself up, honestly. That was a thing. Like in the past, I just felt like I wasn't ready. I felt like I was still healing from my past relationship, and I just wasn't comfortable with being around people and having all that energy because yeah, like it's intense, and I just wasn't in a space for a while in order to really devote and invest my energy into dating and relationships. So I focus mainly a lot on my business. I've had some like cool flings. I don't even know if you can say that, but like, I meet some really cool people like this whole like I think it's been like 4 years since I've been single. Like since 2021. Yeah, 4 years. It's not like I haven't been like talking to anybody. Like I've talked, I've met women, and we hang out and we do things and stuff. But um, yeah, nothing honestly too seriously and very long term because I also this is funny. So the notes that I was doing and taking before I made this episode was like actually the person that I'm like talking to right now. She advised us to like do like some homework on like what does the relationship look like to us in general. What is our ideal relationship? What does that look like? What does that feel like? So I was doing some writing about like, yeah, like what does that look like to me? What does that feel like to me? Like what do I see when I picture like my ideal relationship, regardless of any standards, regardless of any societal norms, all that bullshit, just like me and me. Like what are my thoughts on my relationship? And I say all this to say it's like it looks a whole lot differently now. It looks different for me because I'm at a period in my life. It's a very interesting point, right? I'm 22 for some background. And I I understand the concept of not taking life too seriously. I feel like I understand that pretty well. I'm here in Thailand. I just freaking booked the one-way ticket and I just ended up moving here. I've been here for like 7 months. I didn't even really know, but hey, things just work out. I'm here. I do a lot of like lollygagging, just flippity flappish thing. I'm side quest king, okay? I love a good side quest. I be in all kind of stuff. I don't really take nothing too seriously, right? But then also on the other hand, I'm also at a point in my life where I've experimented a lot. I've done a lot. I've traveled a lot. I've, experienced and I've seen a lot of the world and not only of the world, but within me, of just sitting with myself, being in solitude and being in isolation and learning what do I like? What are the things that make me smile? What are the things that bring me joy? What are the things that I can just keep doing forever and like, just learning more about myself in life, right? And it's kind of it's like, ugh. Gen Z, oh my gosh. Shout out to all the Gen Zers. People be talking ish, but let me tell you, we we really like be getting all the doom and gloom of society. Every day, that's why I be having to stay off social media sometimes because it's like oh, now we're living in the midst of the next depression. And, most of us graduated when there was COVID, so some people didn't even get to really experience a graduation, like they had to drive by graduations. What was that? Bro, like, it's just so much, a lot of like doom and gloom. And it's like, sometimes I feel like I don't have a future, but then I remember, no, that's what they want us to think. They want us to be suffering so we don't continue to create heaven on earth. So when I remember that, and I'm like, okay, wait, no, I do have a future. And although, yes, it's cool to live for today and in the moment and be present, there's still stuff worth building. There's still life that's worth living for, right? And I say that to say because, like, even though I do have this understanding that, yeah, don't take anything too seriously, live for the moment, live in the present, I do realize that there's also a lot of life ahead of me. I'm 22. I have decades. I have so much more to experience, and like being so wise at this young age, and like having this accumulation of experiences is beautiful. But I also have to continuously remind myself, like, oh no, there's so much more. I haven't even hit my solar return yet, my Saturn return. There's so much more life for me to experience. And, you know, I do feel like this is the time where I want to start like putting like my roots down places and like really building more generational wealth and like acquiring more assets. So maybe it will require me to sit my ass down sometimes and not just fly out of the country anytime I want to. You know? It's an interesting thing that I'm like learning and noticing within my life right now. Things constantly change, and I might not even feel like this way again. Like tomorrow, I might feel something differently. But that's the beautiful thing, right? That's the beautiful thing. It's evolution. It's evolution, and it's emotions, and we ride the waves and the things. At the end of the day, I still don't take anything too seriously, but I do know that life is worth living, and I appreciate my life, and it's not like I take my life for granted. So I bring that back into the relationship and dating wise because with me being this such free person and I don't like the word commitment. I really don't. It feels like a trap to me. I'm gonna blame that on the Sagittarius sign of me. Like, I don't. How about this? Instead of commitment, I like to reframe it to dedication and consideration, right? So it's like in the midst of me just frolicking around in life and like yeah just having fun and being free, I do also want to share my love with a partner. I do. I'm a lover. This is Amani's infinite love for sake. Come on. Come on, of course. I'm a lover, guys. I'm a romantic at heart. I'm a poet. I'm an artist. I love to love and I love to create love. I love to share love. I love to experience love. I love love for real. You know? So as I'm right now, okay, like what is my ideal lover? Like what is my ideal relationship? You know, I had to ask myself a set of questions. And these are some of the questions that I want to talk about and explore with you. And maybe you can even ask yourself if you're in the process as well of like figuring out like this dating thing, or if you are already dating, hit me up. Maybe we could, you can ask me some more questions. But one of the first questions I asked myself was, what is a relationship? You can write this down as well. What is a relationship, right? I feel like that's the first thing because what even is that? What is that for real, for real? And when I like was writing this out, I kind of quantified it because what I realized, or at least how I see it from my perspective right now, I feel like a relationship is it's like a partnership. It's like a business, right? And I'm also an entrepreneur, so I think very business minded upon a lot of things. And I know it's, I can't just quantify the whole thing as a business, but just follow me here, follow me because this is what I wrote out, and this is kind of how I'm seeing it right now, and this is gonna change at some point. But I feel like it's a partnership, right? It's like when you're dating, it's almost as if you're playing with ideas, right? Because each person is like an idea. It's an experience, right? Do you want to experience this kind of life with this kind of person, or you want to experience life with this person or that person? These are all ideas. This is like your startup ideas, right? And then I felt like okay, and then the dating, it's like experimentation of like okay, hey, I have this idea. I think I might want to make a business out of this idea. Let's see. Let's see. So then you start going with the idea. You start, doing some mock-ups. You're doing the test, which are the dates, seeing the compatibility, you know, and just testing the waters, testing that idea and those experience. And then a relationship, right? That's a relationship. I feel like that level is like LLC level. Cause then you see how these were all just ideas, right? This, like we're just testing ideas. Relationship, it does come with a certain level of commitment because it comes with another level of dedication, right? It's different from dating. Dating, I feel like you're still exploring your options. Relationship, mm, okay. You found an idea, you like it, you think it works. You want to start this thing on up. you want to get in. You want to get a limited liability company. You want to make sure if you get sued, nobody's gonna, get all your stuff. But it's still not as serious as a corporation, as a S corp, C corp. Whoa, that's marriage. Hold up. Let's just talk about the LLC stage at this point. Cause then that comes with the title, right? So if I'm dating, and I'm like, oh, hey, I want this girl to be my girlfriend. Hmm. What does that look like for me? What is what does that look like for me? Am I even ready for that? And that's the next question that I asked myself. I said, am I ready for that right now? I don't know if I'll ever be ready. I don't know. Because going back to the first question of what is a relationship, it's like a title. It's a little bit more commitment because this is consideration. This is your partner now. You're doing business with this person. So you trust this person, right? If you're going to be in business with someone, I sure as hell hope you can trust them. So there has to be a level of trust that is within place within relationship, I feel. And what I also feel is that there is a level of not commitment but dedication and consideration. And I'm saying that because, you know, at this point I feel like your partner, that's your life partner. You decided to do life with this partner. And it's like y'all gonna do this life thing together. Y'all going to be the support system and hold space for each other in life, in each other's lives. Because I also do feel like it's very important for me. What I value first is my freedom and my truth. And my truth is that I am me before I'm anything to anyone. I am not just a partner, a boyfriend, a son, or whatever. I'm me to me first. And I view that my partner is also them to them first and foremost as well. So that's super important for me is truth within me, staying true to me, and them staying true to themselves, and also the freedom. Freedom to explore. Freedom to explore me. Freedom to explore life. Freedom to explore the adventures. It's freedom of life. Because like I said, I might change my mind about all this stuff tomorrow. I might say, I might wake up tomorrow and be like, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I don't think I'm ready. Or I don't know about this idea. I might change this. It's all relative. But I have that freedom to change at any moment in time. So does anybody else. And that's why I don't like the word commitment because commitment to me feels like an obligation. I'm not obligated to nothing. I done signed enough contracts when we came to Earth. I'm not trying to sign no more contracts that's finna clank, 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 and I gotta unleash and do all this. No, 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 no. No. Dedication. This is where that comes in. Because when you're dedicated, I feel, to someone and you say, hey, I want you to be my partner. I feel like I trust you. I feel like I want to explore this idea and I want to keep creating this with you. I want to keep sharing this with you. I want to keep experiencing you. Then I would be dedicated in that sense to that person of showing up, of still keeping to my truth, but also holding space for theirs. Because every day you might not feel like, you know, talking. And that's okay. I feel like if I'm sharing that and letting them know, but also still being receptive of the fact that, maybe they really want to share something with me that day. And this is my partner. And I want to hold space to make sure they feel safe with, sharing with me and just, talking to me. And I love getting to know my partner as well, I feel. So I would want to open space for that. And so that's where the dedication comes in. That's where the loyalty comes in, and having consideration for another person. This is your life partner, I feel like when you are into relationship, that to me that feels like okay, you're into partnership. You're deciding to do this life thing together. You found somebody who you feel like is worthy of your love, worthy to trust, worthy to open up, to be vulnerable with, and to share intimacy with. And I don't take that regard in any way lightly, and that's why I can't do the casual sex thing. I'm a very intimate person. I love intimacy, and intimacy, of course, is not just sex. It's all the little things. I love to just hold hands and cuddle. I'm a lover. I love physical touch and quality time. I'm super affectionate. I love gifts, and I love to just give and also receive too. I've been opening myself up to that. But, this relationship idea to me feels more like a partnership. This is someone who you feel like adds value to your life, who can be an asset, and you really want to experience them, and you really want to just explore this idea of them, of who they are. Okay, that feels like a really good like definition for me at the moment. And so I wrote some other things down. What I said, who is my ideal partner? What does that look like? Mm, I'm gonna have to be careful when I share this. I don't want anybody trying to morph themselves into what I think they should be, or it's not even that, but I guess I should share just freely and openly because that was the point of this whole shebang is to be open and honest with my feelings. My ideal partner is I have quite a few qualifications, honestly. But I guess I would start with the values of I would want my ideal partner to value like truth and honesty and value themselves. I want them to have self respect and self love for themselves. I don't want to be anybody's crutch. I don't want them to outsource everything on me as if they can't do it themselves. Like I'm here to also add, but I'm not here to be their everything. And that's what I would definitely want my partner to know and have within themselves. It's just like the self love and the self trust and the self confidence. I don't want someone who's insecure. I don't want someone who's doubtful of themselves or pities themselves, look downs upon themselves. I want them to have confidence and affirm themselves and because I do the same thing and I feel like I wouldn't expect anything out of my partner that I couldn't expect out of me. And that's that's um that's for sure something that I would want within my ideal partner. Um, do I have? I mean, I do have a type. Not gonna lie, I do have a type, but I'm also open to exploring. Like what that looks like, cause like I'm still young. I'm still young. I'm 22, man. Like things change, and yeah, I might like curvy, you know, black women, Latinas, you know, nice smile. Of course, I always wanted somebody to have a like nice smile. I find that very much attractive. But things change, so I'm not gonna like say, oh, my ideal partner has to have like this kind of body type and this is. I just probably can't say that on the podcast. I don't want to get canceled. But yeah, so I don't think I have too much physical um qualifications. Most of my things are just the energies that my ideal partner holds. And I feel like I know those energies because I know what I value and I know what I'm attracted to and I know what I like. So in that sense, my ideal partner fits within those things, within the energies and within the values systems that I've already written down. And another question I had for myself is oh, this is a good question. I'm glad I wrote this down so I could look back on it. What lessons have I learned from past relationships? Whew, a lot. A lot. Like I would say, first and foremost, um, yeah, was like what I was just kind of talking about of not outsourcing the love to someone else. I noticed that within my past relationships, maybe it was like trauma bonds, like we would get all into the heavy, dark stuff that we've been through in the past and, be there for each other. And in that sense, I feel like you're kind of creating a crutch. You're kind of creating a crutch. Because now how I'm approaching dating, like now, like with this girl I'm talking to, you know what like something that I really admire and that I enjoy about our connection is that it feels so light and it feels like she knows herself. She knows herself. And I really love that. And it also feels like she loves herself a lot. When we talk, about some things that, like the curveballs that life throws at us, what I really love about how she handles herself and how she handles life is she doesn't come to me and look for me to be there with her through her suffering. She doesn't outsource me for her problems. She goes and she really sits with that first with herself. And then, whatever she shares with me is not to invite me to like, oh, you see what I've been through. Oh, poor me. Like I don't feel like she invites me to suffer with her. I just feel like she just invites me to just witness her and to learn more about her and that's what I really love. That's what I really love because I feel like that's what love really is. It's not about suffering. I don't have to suffer with you. I know that life can throw some big things and curveballs and yeah, shit happens. A lot of fucked up shit happens in life. It doesn't mean I have to sit there and suffer with you through all those things. But I do love to witness you and learn about you and learn like what have you been through? What makes you you? How have you overcome that? How are you still dealing with that? How are you, processing that? Like I feel like that's the ideal um relationship and kind of love that I like to share. It's to be a witness because love wants to be seen and one love wants to be witnessed and it doesn't want to suffer, right? Because when you love yourself, you also know how to heal yourself. You don't look for anybody else to outsource that, healing for. Of course, I mean, there's always help and there's support, and that's what I feel like a partnership and other people are for is like to offer, the support and the love for when you do get down and you do feel down and stuff like that. But not just always, like coming here and complaining and wanting another person to be that crutch or that help or that therapist that you need to just go and hire, you know. So that's one of the biggest things that I learned from my past relationship is not to outsource um, what I'm looking for into other people, but to look for myself in that, the help that I need, the love that I need, the care and support that I'm looking for is really all within me, and everybody else around me is only going to add what I already have from within because nobody else can be nothing that I am not already. So that's one of the biggest lessons I learned from my past relationship. I'm so glad that I learned that, and I think it's something I'm still learning every day. It's just continuing to learn how to get for myself what I'm looking for. when I'm feeling emotional and I'm feeling, all these things. And it's just like, okay, Monty, well, what can I do for you? I'm such a great lover. I'm such a great parent. I'm such a great friend. I'm such a great everything to myself because I've really learned how to be that for myself. And I'm always learning. I love to keep learning how to be there more for myself, how I can cater more to myself, how I can listen more to myself, how I can understand these emotions and these wants and um, you know, messages that are coming up within me. So I would say that's one of the biggest lessons I learned from my relationship. What's another one I can add in here? Um it's getting dark, y'all. I have to end this soon. But okay. Um another relationship from the past. Mm, yeah, I learned a lot about me. And I would say also how my feelings and my actions can affect other people. Some more background about me. I grew up as an only child. I very much so have only child syndrome. I see it all the time, especially lately with myself. I'd be like, "Oh, Monty, that's the only child shit." That's the only child syndrome. Like I see it. Like I'm a spoiled little brat sometimes. And then, I see the positives in it because I know I can always get whatever I want. Like the other day, I was thinking about my childhood and I was like, man, you know what I missed? The PSP. I want a PSP again. Guess what I got? Yeah, I got a PSP. And it's the same color as I had as a kid. It's silver. I got a PSP. I be playing it. I be playing 2K on my favorite old games. GTA, San Andreas, Vice City. It got loads, tons of games. I know I'm a spoiled brat. I get whatever I want, and I love that about myself. But also, like sometimes I can be super selfish and and considerate of other people's feelings. So being in a relationship definitely taught me like, okay, you have to have like some level of consideration, when you're in a relationship with someone else, right? Because their feelings matter too, and like I can't. It's not always just about me. That was big for me. That was big for me because as someone who spends a lot of time alone and always just me, and then you bring another person to the equation. It's like, oh, it's not me all the time. Oh, it's not you. Oh, now it's you. So then I would kind of yeah, learning to work with that, and it's still a work in progress because I haven't been in a relationship in 4 years, so I still know that there's more work to be done because that's the thing too. I could talk about this all day, but then when it comes to really being in a relationship and really, that's a whole nother story. That's when all that stuff gets really put to test. Are you as healed as you say you are? Are you just, haven't experienced it? Yeah. So that's going to be a good episode. Guys, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to me getting a relationship. My astrologer said I was going to get married this year. We're going to see. Hey, but I'm looking forward to the journey. That's why I'm creating this new season because I know I'm dating. I know I'm exploring. I'm dabbling. I'm adventuring. So, I know that love is only going to come about it because that's my intentions within everything I do. So I'm looking forward to explore how the test holds up and how I handle these real life situations. But yeah, I would say that's some big things, lessons that I've learned from past relationships. Oh yes, one of the last questions I asked myself about was polyamory and monogamy. I think this is a big topic with a lot of the kids these days. Nah, because also bringing back Gen Z, right? I think most of my listeners are probably Gen Zers or millennials. Um, we like our freedom, and I think a lot of people have realized their worth a lot, where they may be seen as having high standards, but we should have high standards for ourselves. high value people though. I mean, some people is like, okay, you got all these standards. Do you even meet your own standards? Okay. Hey, we gotta take a look back because, like I mentioned earlier, you can't expect nothing out of nobody that you don't have yourself. Uh-huh. So, anyways, yeah, like I know we have this concept, and especially me, of just like, oh, I love freedom and I love to explore, and like I don't really like commitment, or I don't like the word commitment. I don't like the word. I can be dedicated. I don't like commitment because at that point it feels like obligation. At this point, it's still always a choice. There's always a way out. I don't want to be entangled in these realms right now. We're not there yet. So yeah, I asked myself like, okay, is my ideal relationship like a relationship that's polyamorous, or do I want to stay monogamous? I don't know. No, I don't know. I'm still exploring that. I don't. We'll see. To me, honestly, how I feel about it right now, and I just had a great conversation with my boy Zion. I got to get him on the podcast. So we got to do a whole nother episode about dating as a trans guy and all those things. But we was talking about this and about like, yeah, like polyamory and about like dating and stuff like that. And I love what he said. He was like, I see myself as royalty. This is what he said. He said, I was like, I see myself as royalty. Like I see myself as having like multiple wives. I'm like, Zion, you see, this is why I fuck with you. Like, this is why I fuck with Zion, because we got similar mindsets. I see myself as a king. As a king, me personally, back to me now. I do see myself as a king. When he said that, I'm like, yeah, that's right. The kings, they've had multiple wives now. All right. And I also see myself as a very wealthy man. So there's more than enough to go around. More than enough. So, do I believe I can be polyamorous? I believe that that will require a lot of trust and a lot of commitment. I'm not sure if I feel comfortable with starting off someone I'm dating. Well, of course, when you're dating, like you're not committed to them. You're not like in a relationship. But I feel like in relationship, I would just want it to be just us, because I would really want to build that foundation of like trust and love and communication. I wouldn't want to start off my relationship with just openness and having all these other parties involved, because then I do know that when you're into polyamory, other people's energies come into that as well. And I would just really want to have a solid foundation before anything. So I believe that yes, I could grow into polyamory because I do love freedom, and that's something I do value. And so I love to share my love. I love to give it. And I believe that my partner would also have that same mindset as well. And with that, I would trust my partner enough to know that, they're not just like going out there and being a hoe and like, having casual sex, because that's something I wouldn't be down for. Like, if you just want to be open and have all these other people just come in and come out of you and, fuck. Nah, that's not the polyamory I'm looking for. I'm looking for, like, if you genuinely, have love and you want to share that with other people and you don't want to, not only limit yourself within love, okay, but I would want somebody who values that love, not just sex. That's not something I'm looking for. So in that sense, yes, I would be open to polyamory, but I would want it to be monogamous first. I feel like I just would not want to start off my relationship with us just being polyamorous and just probably gonna have to implement some time frames, or just I just want to keep building up that trust. But that's just what I feel right now about the whole polyamory thing, monogamy thing. Wondering how your answers are gonna differ and just be when you ask yourself these same questions. So I'm gonna do a rundown again of all the list of questions that I'm asking myself with dating. Is first, what is a relationship? Second, am I ready for one? Third, what is my ideal partner? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Fourth, What lessons have I learned from past relationships? Fifth, how do you feel about polyamory, monogamy? And actually, a sixth one that I didn't really discuss. Um, I said discussed. Discuss is trust and surrender. It's more like a topic that comes in with relationships because of course when you're getting into a relationship with someone else, it's going to require you to have this openness. It's going to require you to open yourself up and to surrender. And a lot of people I feel like the idea of the relationship and like getting loved and receiving that and all that stuff, but like when it comes to actually giving and opening up, I've noticed myself that I can be hesitant with that because yeah, like trust issues may come up, and like of course I've been a little hurt before in love, but hey, you know, might have a few scars, but baby, I can still love, and that's what I'm constantly reaffirming to myself. It's like no matter what happened in the past, no matter what, I still have the choice to be love. I still have the choice to give love. I still have the choice to be as happy as I want to be, whatever happens, no matter what happens. I have the choice to be as happy and, loving as I choose to be, no matter what. So I remind myself of that, it's these guards that we have, to try to protect ourselves because we want to avoid from getting hurt again. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to I feel like I need to turn the light on because it's getting like so dark in here. Ugh, yeah, I look so handsome. I put on this shirt just for y'all. It's the sun setting. Maybe this angle. It's okay. The last few questions. Y'all know what I look like. But anyways, what I was saying is, what was I saying? Oh yes, with trust and surrender. Oh guys, and I also found some light that we can use, some makeshift. So with trust and surrender, yes, we build up these guards and we build up like all this stuff, ego, and I don't like how the light looks. I'm sorry, I just can't right now. Right here, you can see me like this. Yeah, can it work right here? Right here? No. Okay. Um, we build up these walls and we have all these like things to try to protect us, but when we are really wanting to build a genuine connection, it is going to require a level of vulnerability and trust. And it's learning how to really work with your intuition, learning how to work with your discernment, but also learning to observe. I'm learning to observe people's patterns, people's actions. Actions speak louder than words. Can we repeat? I'm going to turn back on the light. Actions speak louder than words. Okay? Because people will be loving to lie. People will be loving to say, this goobity goobity bop bop, baby, I love you. Oh, ooh, 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 ooh. They make it sound so sweet. We can manipulate words in that kind of way, but your actions will show a lot about you. And people operate in patterns. People operate in patterns. So I've learned to just be observant of these patterns, not having rose colored glasses on because I love to do that. I'm sorry. I don't love to do that no more because now I'm seeing the truth for what it is. But in the past, that I know that, when I was like dating people and just, like getting to know people, even with friends wise, like I would always put these rose colored glasses on because, you know, I see the potential of people and I think I fall in love with the potential of people instead of the reality of them. And that is not fair to me nor them because I'm not even experiencing them and really getting to know them and love them for who they truly are. I'm only getting to, I'm only loving them for who I think they should be or who I feel that they are, not who they actually are. And that's just not fair to, like I said, me nor them. So I've learned to really accept people for where they are right now. not where they could be, not where they're going. I want to see you right now, and I want to witness you, and I want to experience you, and I want to say that even in the midst of what you are and what you're going through, I still love you. I'm still choosing to love you. And that's true love. That's true love. It's the reality of love. So, like that's something big is not having that like rose colored glasses and those tinted love screen of just not seeing the person for who they truly are, of wishing and hoping. No, look at who they really are. Is this someone that you want to be with? Is this someone that you really love? Is this someone that you truly admire? Is this someone that you even like? Because when I look back at some of my relationships or just people I've, messed with, talked with, I'm like, I didn't even really like them. Why did I even do that? You live and you learn. But those are my observations, and I've been learning to get deeper into the observations of patterns and just seeing things for what it is. What it is. No sugarcoating it. No, but oh. No, but ah. No. This is what it is. And yes, I can still have feelings and I can still sit with those. It's just being aware of what you're getting yourself into before you really start to get into some shit. Right? Okay. That's a big thing. That's why, yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad I've been single all this time. I've been learning. Okay, I'm putting this into practice right now. I think I'm doing pretty good right now. I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm making my notes. I'm making my notes. I'm staying true. I'm tuning into the intuition. I'm tuning into the body. But it's a lot of feelings that come up, especially when you like somebody. But I'm still staying true. I'm still staying true, and that's all I can do. That's all I can do at the end of the day. Okay. So that's all I got for y'all, man. This is gonna be a great series. This is gonna be a great just memorial of my life and my ideas and like all this cool shit. I'm so glad I'm doing this. This is gonna evolve so much, and I'm grateful that you can witness me evolve. You're evolving with me. So let's do that. I'm looking forward to exploring more about relationships and datings. And like I said, I'm not just going to be talking about dating. I just want to explore relationships in general, like partnerships and, relationship to my mom. I would love to do a podcast episode with my mom and just like talk about the evolution of our relationship. And like, maybe I can get my dad on a podcast. I don't think he'll agree with that, but I can at least talk about it. And, when I go back home, I'm planning on visiting my family again, like that can be an episode and that can be a story, but like I really want to explore these concepts and like what do they mean to me, what does that feel like to me, and how I'm reconstructing those things because I do not obviously fit within the societal norms and the societal standards. So it's redefining all of these and what do they mean to me. And this is my journey. And I'm glad to share my truths. And I'm glad that you're in it. I'm glad you're on it as well. And I would love to hear more about yours and what you're up to. You listened to this far. And I really want to connect more with my listeners. So even if that's, you sending me a message of, hey, Monty on Instagram. It's Infinite Love G. Also made a new podcast. Instagram is Infinite Love PC. Um, oh, I'm sorry. I think it's Infinite in Love PC. It's Infinite in Love PC. Also, that's my website. And I think you also have a option to text me if you look at this description. Like, I just really want to know more about you. I want to know. And I'm really appreciative that you have witnessed me and this episode and reviewed relationships and what does that mean right now. And I'm looking forward to keep exploring this with you. So, infinite, 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 infinite love, my people. Infinite love. I love you infinitely. Namaste. See you later.